Hello everyone, welcome back to Touch the Fire Twice. I'm Joshua, and I'm here today to do an in-depth sniff review of the Snif Limited Edition Holiday 2024 Half Baked Gingerbread Smash candle. But first, if you're new to Touch the Fire Twice, welcome. My mission here is to share my love and passion for fine home fragrance as an enthusiast, an educator, a reviewer, to inspire you to increase your own fragrance knowledge and understanding, ultimately enhancing the scent memories that you create. If you want to learn more about what I do, why I do it, and how I do it, you can check out my website at TouchTheFireTwice.com, and please do give me a follow over on Instagram, also at TouchTheFireTwice. But for now, let's dig into Half Baked Gingerbread Smash. So I was recently introduced to Snif when I purchased their Half Baked Pumpkin Smash candle, as well as their Half Baked Apple Cider Smash candle. You can watch my brand introduction and review on the Half Baked Pumpkin Smash here. That was a couple weeks back. And then I really enjoyed that candle. I also put it in my Luxury Pumpkins candle review video, which you can also watch that here. And I wanted to dig in and explore more of their candles because I was really impressed with both fragrances. But I wanted to explore additional Snif fragrances. So I did join their affiliate program, which means if you would like to make any purchases and get a discount, you can enter the code Joshua10, Joshua10, at your checkout. I will say though, for some of these holiday candles that are now on actually quite a good sale, I don't know that affiliate codes will apply to stack on top of those, in which case go for the better discount for sure. But today we want to get into the Half-Baked Gingerbread Smash. I will also have in-depth sniff reviews on two of their other holiday limited edition candles coming up shortly, and that will be for Lost Claws and Old Saint Wick. But for now, let's dig into Half Baked Gingerbread Smash. As with any of my luxury candle reviews, I like to go through a process where we'll first unbox it together, understand what that luxury experience is like, the overall aesthetic and branding of the candle itself, and in this case, as you can see, the milk carton inspired box. And then we'll read through the brand's scent story to understand what they want us to experience, that sort of mood, moment, memory, space, place, or time that they're trying to evoke with the fragrance. Then we'll talk about performance, the wick, the wax, getting the strength through a projection, how it burned, getting the fragrance molecules up into the air, into our noses to create those scent memories that we cherish. And then what I love to do, because these luxury candles often will give us 7, 8, 10, 12 of the scent notes that are part of the full build of the fragrance, I like to spend some time learning and educating, going through and saying, okay, what exactly is sandalwood? What are the different kind of cinnamons? What is the difference between a pine tree and a fir balsam? Really to understand what are the actual botanical items and plants and roots and resins that are in these candles so that we understand better what we're sniffing, what we like, and to kind of build the fragrance in our mind's eye to help inform when we're making online purchases especially. So getting right into this, really cute the fact that they do sort of this milk carton inspired box. You see, obviously I already tore it open to get into it, but they really just go all out with the ingredient list. Then they have on the side here the notes that are within the fragrance itself. Super cute, really fun. Not great for storing, but there's a good box inside for storing. And they've got a solid, really strong box, kind of reminiscent of Lofco, where there's gonna be no issue if you store these year over year. I have a little pull tab here, and we get into it. This is their 8.5 ounce single wick candle, which typically for this fragrance retails for $46, though at the time of filming this video, it is on sale for $37. They are vegan, cruelty-free. They use 100% cotton wicks and a soy vegetable wax blend. And the fragrance family or categories they say for this are spicy, gourmand, vanilla. Exploring the fragrance vessel itself, it is this nice sort of creamy, opaque, white, milky glass with these ridges. There is a complimentary ridged lid, which fits on there very nicely. And the name, of course, Half Baked Gingerbread Smash, and a pretty red metallic. Before I sniff the Snif, let's talk about the brand's scent story. They say Half Baked Gingerbread Smash is the home for the holidays scent that smells better than spending hours in the kitchen. We teamed up with Tegan Gerard of Half Baked Harvest to bring you a delicious luxe burn with spiced gingerbread, chai, frothy vanilla, and spiked eggnog for a fresh baked treat that's warm enough to melt the tension at the neighborhood cookie exchange. So let's get my nose on it. So we're thinking gingerbread, but conceptual in the sense that we're talking frothy vanilla and we're talking eggnog. So it's not just a gingerbread cookie or gingerbread cake. Overall for me, this is warm, creamy, lightly spiced. So I would think of this as a very refined gourmand. For those who want something a bit spicy, creamy, sweet, but don't want it to smell like they've walked into a bake shop directly. In my mind, this is meant to evoke a memory or a place, not an actual slice of gingerbread cake. It also very much carries that sort of roasty, toasty note that I got from the Half Baked Pumpkin Smash candle, which I really liked in that. In this, I would have liked to see just a bit heavier hand with some of the, let's say, molasses or kind of almost like a caramel edge. Could be burnt. I'd like to see almost a bit more sweetness and a little bit heavier hit of spice like we get on a really good spiced gingerbread cake. Though they don't call this spiced gingerbread, it's a gingerbread smash, and there are many variations and levels of intensity when it comes to gingerbread when we think cookies, cakes, loaves, etc. But I would like it to be a little bit more sweet, a little bit more intensely spicy, as this is creamy and lightly spiced. When it comes to the performance overall, I would say Pumpkin Smash was a really strong performer. This is solid, a bit lower of a strength of projection and power than we had in the Pumpkin Smash, but still absolutely suitable and appropriate for a single wick 8.5 ounce candle. And I will say that for me, the sort of roasted gingerbread and even, as they say, sugared leather in the notes that we'll get into carry a little bit easier and further than, say, the spiked eggnog or frothy vanilla notes that are listed. It has a fairly solid burn, though in the beginning I did put my aluminum foil around the edge to make sure that it would fully pull out, as is often the case with most single wick candles. However, typically I've found with the other candles I burned with Snif that after 1 or 2 times of doing that, as long as you burn it long enough in a 72-degree draft-free room, you will have a full pool come across. This one, it struggled a bit, and I would say it's kind of a bit of a hit or miss in that sense. I did try burn without any foil around it, and it did almost fully pull out, didn't quite get there all the way, so it started to, would have tunneled. I will correct this the next time I burn it by putting foil back on it and getting that healthy deep pool with good throw, but I would love to see something where there's not any assistance needed, but find any luxury brand or any single wick candle that doesn't need some assistance and I'll be impressed. It's pretty rare. Now let's dig into the 7 notes within this fragrance. First up is baked gingerbread. So gingerbread is typically going to be a warm, spicy aroma with notes of ginger, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, brown sugar, vanilla, usually sweetened with honey, sugar, or oftentimes molasses. Then we've got chai. Masala chai, spiced tea, has 7 basic components that are almost always present: water, tea leaves, milk, sugar, cardamom, black pepper, and ginger. Sometimes you'll also see star anise, cloves, or cinnamon. When it comes to the spices, so from the gingerbread and from the chai, again, this is spiced. It's delicately spiced, not in a bad way, not in a way that you cannot smell it, but it doesn't knock you over. It doesn't read artificial. Certainly not, red hot cinnamon, which we'll get into cinnamon in a moment. But the spices are there, but it is very much the milk or the froth subdues the spices, which frankly is also the case with true masala chai. Then they say cinnamon swirl, which could, just be an adjective they're using, or it could actually mean, butter, cinnamon, sugar as you swirl through a baked good, but we're just gonna go with cinnamon in this case. So that really is one of the key smells of Christmas. It is warm, a dry, powdery spiciness, sweet freshness to start, spicy, enticing, comforting, and sweet. There are 2 primary cinnamons that you will get in fine fragrance, and one would either be cassia cinnamon, which is that pungent, spicy cinnamon, sometimes referred to as Chinese, Saigon, or Vietnamese cinnamon. It's less complex than a true Ceylon cinnamon and kind of gives you that spicy, red hot cinnamon that we're familiar with. Then you also have Ceylon or true cinnamon, Mexican or Sri Lankan cinnamon, which is complex and fragrant, almost a bit of a citrus or floral overtone. Less strong, but still unmistakably cinnamon, warm, mildly spicy sweet. Not sure exactly which one is in here. I would say potentially could even be the Ceylon cinnamon because this does have many nuances to the spice and it does not come off as an obvious red hot spicy cinnamon. Cinnamon spice, not spicy cinnamon. Then of course nutmeg. So nutmeg is the seed from a tree. It's warm, sweet, lightly spicy, sometimes a bit earthy and almost balsamic. It can come off a bit creamy and is more subtle than both cinnamon or clove. Then they give us spiked eggnog. So we know eggnog is going to be a mixture of eggs and cream and sugar, and typically a spice blend, nutmeg, perhaps cinnamon. And spiked meaning brandy or cognac or rum or insert alcohol or liqueur here, depending on what country the eggnog originates in. But it's going to impart that really richly creamy, think melted ice cream, spiced flavor or fragrance. Then we have frothy vanilla, so assuming it's maybe vanilla flavored milk or cream. Vanilla is sweet, warm, comforting, can be heady, a little bit earthy, even a bit boozy depending on the vanilla. It's that edible gourmand bakery and can bring a level of mature sensuality to a fragrance. And finally, sugared leather. So when it comes to leather in fine fragrance, leather of course is not a natural essential oil that can be purchased, but fragrances can be leathery, and that might be from something like birch tar, which has a leathery smokiness, or juniper, aldehydes, or synthetics that give you sort of that skin-like scent of leather. Patchouli, black tea, or tobacco can kind of conjure up the old wooden library feel or that leather jacket sensuality. In this case, sugared leather likely means, frankly, think of if there was a bit of a sweetness or sort of that burnt sweetness that can come from natural things. Sugared, okay, that essentially in fine fragrance just means there's going to be some level of sweetness without being an obvious, maybe a little bit of almost like a brulee, like a burnt sugar, or just a hint of a smoky sweetness. All told, it comes together really nicely. Again, on cold now, after I burned this a few times, there is sort of that milky, creamy, soft spice, certainly a bit of a round, I would almost say baked good from the gingerbread, not quite. Gourmand, yes. Actual baked good, not so much for me, but that creaminess, sort of that, I don't often use these words, but I did in pumpkin smash and also in the gingerbread smash, kind of a roasty, toasty, comforting feeling. Very nice overall. Between this and the pumpkin smash, I might lean towards the pumpkin smash. I think it was a bit more unique for me, and I wouldn't have minded this to be a little bit more obvious, a little bit more spiced, a little bit stronger with that, but still a really nice candle and fun to have sort of the Smash line or Smash collection of candles across the holiday collection at Snif. So I'd love to know what you think on this candle, on other Snif candles if you have purchased them. As I said, I will have additional reviews on the rest of the limited edition holiday collection for 2024. And until next time, take care.